I wanted to talk to y'all a bit about who's the reigning NFC East champions, who are the reigning NFC champions, and what that means for this offseason. We got a lot of teams. We got a lot of teams players just talking trash. We're going to talk about some of those things. But I wanted to talk and call out some of the networks, especially ESPN, that seem to ignore certain news on other teams, but want to talk about our teams when it comes to the fan base. All right, let's roll.
Yeah. Die line with the pow. Every week now I switch to a new style. 212s in the back just blew out. Everything I do end up in the news now. Lead a cloud with a few now. Just some Hollywood girls and they do.
Hello, everybody. First and foremost, just wanted to really dig into what I said before the intro here, and that's pretty much. I mean, everyone knows what we've won the 2022 season. The 2022 seasons. It's we're moving forward to training camp 2023. We're moving in free agency and the draft. We've been through all of that. Um, and now it's kind of that point in time in the off season when things are a little bit slower. So I wanted to make a video on just a lot of the disrespect that I'm seeing towards Jalen Hurts in the offseason. And I know a lot of these networks want to ruffle feathers and want to, but looking at one of the first things that I found, and it's actually not the worst. I do, even though he has crazy takes sometimes, I do respect Colin Coward on ESPN there. And um, he had a top 10 QB list that came up. I'll throw it up there. But, you know, in this list, he had Jalen Hurts as number 7. He had Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, and then Aaron Rodgers, and then Jalen Hurts. For me, it's kind of confusing for me just why Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence are so high when they are great quarterbacks. I'm not saying that I'm not even saying that they shouldn't be on this list. But I mean, the fact that he had Russell Wilson as number 10 on this list with the horrible season he had. I mean, you know, I- Colin, you've made better lists than this top 10 one. I think you might need to revise this one. But I definitely think Jalen Hurts should be ahead of Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is a great quarterback, puts up great stats. Um, does not have the best coaching staff, but I mean, we could argue that we don't have the best coaching staff, and that's why we lost the Super Bowl, especially with the defensive coordinator. So, I mean, we can't, but no one wants to hear that excuse. So why are we giving Justin Herbert excuses? I just don't understand why Hurts is behind Rodgers, Herbert, and Lawrence. Rodgers has been doing it for a long time. I understand that, but you know, we're talking about as of right now, what are the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL? I do think that I have no issue with Josh Allen and Joe Burrow being above Hurts, even though I do think that is debatable. I do think that you could put Hurts over Josh Allen, and he's kind of like toe to toe with Joe Burrow. Um, just because Joe did make it to the AFC Championship, so you have to respect that. And Joe has made it past the AFC Championship, so respect to Joe Burrow and Bengals fans on that one. But for me, I do think that Hurts deserves to be in that 3 to 4 range, which is exactly what Justin Jefferson said as well. Justin Jefferson made his own list of kind of like top 5 quarterbacks, and he had put Jalen Hurts as number 4. And that one he did put Rodgers ahead of Hurts, I believe, at 3. So that's where me and Justin Jefferson kind of disagree there. But I like Jefferson's list better. You have to have Hurts in the top 5 with his 2022 performance. His rankings when it comes to pretty much touchdown interception ratio, 20 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. Uh, you know, total of 13 rushing touchdowns. We know that part. But we're just gonna move on here to some of the stats of Jalen Hurts. Just wow. His stats really jump off the board to me, and I heard someone debating and talking to Cowboys fans online. People were trying to call Hurts a game manager or a running back, and just with these type of passing yards, I don't understand why people say stuff like that. Um, the dude had, I mean, look at the passing yards per game and Jalen Hurts versus Dak Prescott. If you want to talk about, Cowboys fans talking here, Jalen Hurts has 240 averages 246.7 passing yards a game, while Dak manages to throw 238.3 passing yards per game. So for me, I just think that is a very interesting stat for that Cowboys fans really need to acknowledge and understand. Dak having the worst divisional round record at 0-3 here on the divisional round. Um, you know, since the NFL realignment, the Eagles have had the most division titles, with Eagles having 9 in the NFC East, Cowboys having 6 in the NFC East, New York Giants 3, Washington Redskins, Commanders, whoever you want to call them, uh, Washington losers 3. It's like I respect Redskins, but the point of the matter is, Eagles have been kind of on top for this. Is kind of like the Eagles' era um, of winning overall games. Of course, people want to talk about the Super Bowl loss. They're not going to shut up about it. We understand we lost the Super Bowl. Yes, Hurts did fumble the ball, but you have to understand some of the things that Hurts also did while in the Super Bowl. Hurts had the most rushing touchdowns in yards by a QB in Super Bowl history. The most rushing touchdowns and yards by a QB in Super Bowl history. I had to repeat that so that everyone could hear that correctly. Okay, moving on. Moving on to what I think about the networks here, some of the things that we're seeing here, and this is by a Dallas source. Is one thing I they like to kind of talk about Eagles fans and how we're horrible and how we do this and that and we're just the little shots that networks have, oh well, Philly fans are, they're always, of course, opposing players, coaches, and fans aren't going to have a great experience when you come into Eagles territory where Eagles fans are passionate, they're repping their birds. They're not going to take crap from anybody. So, it's fandom. I understand there were some incidents that happened at Lincoln Financial Field during the NFC Championship where, people were throwing stuff in cans. You could go back on the internet and search for that video. But what I want to talk to you about is, Eagles fans' shenanigans are highly publicized, whereas like other franchises, their things aren't necessarily covered. I mean, they're covered in the local level, but they're never covered in the national, you know, ESPN, NFL Network level of where everyone can see it. And so I just wanted to post and show y'all. This is Dallas fans at the divisional round 2022 NFL playoffs. And here you can see Cowboys fans fighting each other after that playoff loss to the 49ers. And yet here we have someone running here, right? Someone running after hitting someone. All right. We have we got a Cowboys fan on top of another Cowboys fan holding him down. He did connect with some punches there. And then we have Cowboys fans hitting people and running from security. Um, you know, so I just wanted to kind of show yeah, Eagles fans aren't perfect. We get frustrated, but look at some of the things that happen in Jerry World that is not talked about by the national media. I, and this is something that I'm calling out the national media. I'm calling out certain people because certain people don't want to cover this stuff because it doesn't fit their narrative of Philly being the bad guy, Philly being a trashy city, which is not. There's many beautiful parts of Philadelphia. There's many parts of Philadelphia that aren't beautiful, but that's everywhere. So we have to stop with the bias coverages and kind of cover everything here because there's parts, especially parts of Dallas and certain Dallas Cowboys players who have gotten into some really deep issues with law enforcement and with the criminal justice system, and we don't dive into that. We don't cover that because we don't care. Out here in Philly, we're more focused on our own team, but for some reason, the national media just kind of has it out for Philly fans, Eagles fans. Um, especially with the things going on with Debow Samuel and some of the trash that he was talking in the off season, and then once he gets put on the platform, he gets put on the spot, and people start asking real questions about Philly. Notice the guy dips off, and CBS was reaching out to him, and I give kudos to CBS, to asking the hard questions and asking the questions because just because you don't like how the NFC Championship turned out for you, it doesn't mean that you should get a pass, and I think that a lot of 49ers players and fans have been getting a pass for, listen, man, this stuff happens. Injuries happen. It's football. It's a part of the game. We won fair and square because your coach decided to line up a tight end to block, one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. That's not our fault. That you didn't have the correct game plan to protect not one, but two of your quarterbacks. So even I guarantee you with this new NFL rule change that where you have that third emergency quarterback there that won't take up the roster spot, I guarantee you that game they wouldn't have even been able to protect the third quarterback. So that's not our fault. You know what I mean? And I just think that needed to be said. I think that needs to be acknowledged that, listen, if 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 they did the turf on the fields for the Super Bowl right, we feel like we could have won the Super Bowl. It's the same thing whereas you're saying, well, if Brock Purdy didn't get hurt, but our player beat your player on that line of scrimmage, beat your player one-on-one, threw your tight end on the ground and smacked Purdy's hand and bent it backwards. And listen, all respect to 49ers fans, this isn't a video to be disrespectful, but this is a video to call out, some of the just hypocrisy that I'm seeing from some of the fans, some of the, national media. Listen, Eagles won that game fair and square. And, they put a whooping on them. Let's just call it like it is, We'll see you guys next year, but, as far as all this shenanigans and all this stuff, I felt like I needed to just make a video and call some of this stuff out. And like I said, it's no disrespect to anyone who I've called out, but we have to tell the truth. And we have to report on things not just to fit a narrative, but to actually report on everything in a fair way. So thank you for watching this Rich and Media. Peace out.